The Hawaiian sky and ocean make a stunning backdrop for a wedding dress that gleams in the sunlight. The bride in that dress looks like she just stepped out of a fairy tale. But what if I told you that behind that adorable face is a woman who's more of a monster than a witch? I'm Sarah. I'm just your average homemaker in her late 50s. I have a daughter and a son, both of whom are now grown up and have families of their own. Feeling the empty nest syndrome, my husband Tyler and I are saving for a trip across America by me helping him out with his business. Tyler, who's almost 60, is the CEO of a construction company. He's the type of guy who wouldn't know what to do if he retired, so it looks like he'll be working beyond 60. We're a couple who need a common goal, otherwise we'd just get restless. But we've hit a little snag in our otherwise peaceful life. Hi, Mom. I was free, so I thought I'd drop by. Rachel. Despite her cheerful greeting, my mouth twitches involuntarily. Get it together, Sarah. My son's wife has come to visit. Hello. Make yourself at home. We don't have much, but... Sure thing. Rachel walks in with a smile, snapping pictures of the living room and decor with her phone. Butter cookies? Can we have something more Instagram-worthy? I offer some cookies I received as a gift, and Rachel puffs out her cheeks in disapproval. All right, super cute, super cute. I used to say, if you don't like it, don't eat it, to my daughter Emily when she was young and picky. If Rachel wasn't my son's wife, I swear I'd give her a piece of my mind. I apologize, but these are actually quite popular these days. Really? Well, I guess they look cute if you really look. Rachel picks up a cookie with her long white fingers and begins taking multiple pictures, adjusting the angles of plates and cups. As I watch her, I shove a cookie in my mouth to stop myself from saying what's on my mind. My eldest son Alex got married 6 months ago, and his bride Rachel, who's here right now. Alex met Rachel when he was a newbie doctor, and she was working at the front desk of a university hospital. The first time they met, I was surprised. She's tall and slender, has a small face but big, bright eyes. She's simply adorable. Who would have thought she'd want to marry Alex? Tyler, my husband, was equally amazed. Kids these days look like dolls. Alex was head over heels for Rachel. She has a vulnerable aura that just makes you want to protect her. Our daughter Emily, who was already married, was less impressed. Big bro, your taste in women is just... yikes. I scolded her for that comment, but now I kind of get what she meant. After getting married, Rachel started coming over to our house every week, alone, without Alex. You'd think she's just a sweet daughter-in-law who adores her mother-in-law, but I'm not so sure. She seems quite taken with our house. During our initial meet and greet, she couldn't stop gushing. Wow, this place is like something out of a movie. Our home may be 50 years old, but it's a spacious modern marvel, complete with a grand spiral staircase and curated artwork. Don't get me wrong, compliments about the house make me happy, but her obsession is kind of creepy. She takes pictures, roams around freely, and even lounges on the sofa. Sometimes I wonder, isn't this a bit rude for a newlywed in her in-laws' home? Is this how kids are these days? The young woman at Tyler's company seemed much more respectful, showing proper decorum even if it's just for show. I've considered talking to Rachel about her behavior, but the role of a mother-in-law is often one that's easily disliked, so I've been hesitant. Then one day, Tyler got home early and bumped into Rachel. Since Alex was on a night shift, the three of us ended up having dinner. With Tyler around, Rachel refrained from taking photos, and we had a peaceful meal. But then, over coffee, Rachel dropped a bombshell. Do you plan to leave this house to Alex? I nearly spat out my coffee at the blunt question. Unaware of her attachment to the house, Tyler looked puzzled. This house is meant to go to Emily. What? Rachel looked stunned, but quickly recovered. Aren't eldest sons usually the ones to inherit property? This is so unfair. Tyler replied, Alex is a doctor. Emily and her husband will inherit this house and run my business. Besides, this house belongs to Sarah, not me. What? Rachel looks at me with disbelief in her eyes. Tyler spilled the beans, so I had no choice but to fill her in. This house was built by my grandfather. Tyler's company was originally started by him too. You see, this house was built when my grandfather's construction business started to take off. It has elements of an open house design from that era, making it quite luxurious and modern. My dad inherited both the house and the company, but neither my sister nor I had an interest in construction, so I met Tyler at a party. He was the second son of a construction company we knew. We got married and he took over. Rachel still seems unhappy, pouting like a little child. But still, it's usually the first son who inherits everything, right? We've spent a good deal of money on Alex's private medical school education. He understands, so it's not a problem. Besides, this house serves as a place to entertain clients. But this house may be steel framed, but it's old and needs a lot of maintenance. I'm sure Alex will build you a wonderful house that suits you both. Neither Tyler's reasoning nor my explanations seemed to reach her. I want this house. I even told everyone that we're going to live here. Rachel brushes off our kindness and continues to insist. I finally lose my patience and raise my voice. Know your place and stop embarrassing yourself. This house and we aren't here for your vanity. This isn't your parents' house, it's your in-laws'. Understand? For the first time, Rachel is silenced by my reprimand. She clenches her lips and leaves without saying goodbye. I told you, Alex has no eye for women. The next day, Emily, after hearing the story, is quite angry. Well, he's always been a quiet, studious type, not really the kind to talk to girls much. But there were good girls around him too, right? Like Lily. And Lily. Yes, his only female friend is probably Lily. Lily is a childhood friend of Alex's who lives nearby. She's always looked out for Alex, who was a laid-back guy and an easy target for bullies. Even as adults, they're still in touch. Lily is tall, has sharp eyes, and is responsible, the complete opposite of Rachel. It would have been reassuring if you chose someone like Lily. Exactly. Emily eagerly agrees. But Lily has the right to choose too, and since Alex chose Rachel, we have to accept it. I just hope this incident makes her reflect a bit. Rachel is 24, the youngest sibling with two much older brothers. I'd always noticed that my son Alex's fiancée Rachel was the apple of her family's eye. That's why I tolerated her naive and slightly spoiled behavior. I hoped she'd grow and mature as she learned more about the world. I was quite forgiving in my own mind, or so I thought. But she turned out to be a monster beyond my imagination. Hi, Mom! 2 weeks after that incident, Rachel shows up unannounced on a weekday afternoon. With her is an unfamiliar man. I thought she came to apologize, but that didn't seem to be the case. Rachel? Who's this? Nice to meet you, Mrs. Johnson. I'm Davis, from Johnson & Associates. A man with an old-fashioned side-parted hairstyle and black-framed glasses bows politely as he hands me his business card. It says Attorney Matthew Davis, under the name of the law firm Johnson & Associates. Attorney from Johnson & Associates, right? Why would an attorney visit my home? Actually, I heard from this young lady that your house is an illegal structure. As a lawyer, I can't ignore this. What? My house, an illegal structure? I heard it from Alex. I was so shocked that you were doing something wrong. Rachel chimes in, making a face like she can't bear it any longer. Uh-huh. Having no idea what I was talking about, I could only give a dumb reply. I have no clue what Alex told Rachel about this house. But one thing is certain, Rachel is likely misunderstanding Alex's words, and she's standing here with ill intentions. At this point, even my well of patience exploded. I wanted to treat Rachel with care because Alex chose her, but if she wants to pick a fight, bring it on. Excuse me, I'm a bit taken aback by your sudden visit with a lawyer. May I record this conversation? I want to review it thoroughly later. I asked the attorney, my voice trembling, as if I were frightened of being found guilty. Of course. The attorney nods condescendingly, so I pull out my smartphone and hit the record button. So, Mr. Davis, what should I do? If you're in violation of the law, face the penalties and promptly remodel your home. Remodel? Well, some people might think if it's against the law, just fix it, right? Then, please hand over the house to this young lady here. What? How did we get to this point? That's a huge leap in logic. I'm genuinely shocked. Why? I can't let someone who disrespects the law continue to live here. Someone pure of heart, like this young lady, should be the one to reside here. Mom, I'll make this house even better. Rachel grabs my hand with misty eyes, but with a smug face. Ah, okay. I see what's going on. In that case, please carry out these renovations. This is the consent form. I see. I skimmed through this so-called consent form. I get the renovations to fix violations part. It's vaguely worded, but okay. But installing a brand new kitchen, bathtub, and toilet? That's ridiculous. I can't help but mentally question it. The consent form seems to have been drafted over some internet research. But for a document written in such formal language, it's a mess. They're going to regret putting this together. I understand what you're getting at. So then. However, I'm not giving up this house. Why not? Rachel glares at me with a fierce expression. Her true colors are showing. Unfazed, I confidently reply, because this house isn't illegally built. Both of them let out stunned noises at the same time. What? Rachel starts to panic. But Alex said our family home is illegally built. I calmly respond, did he say if you were to build it now? Sure, if you were to build this house here now, it would be illegal. But did you know that houses built before the law was amended are classified as non-conforming existing buildings and are exempt? Exempt? The lawyer would know this, right? I abruptly shift the topic to the lawyer. Of course. The lawyer struck an enthusiastic victory pose. No, you clearly don't get it. That's why you're here. A non-conforming building is one that was legally built under old laws, but became non-conforming due to changes in current laws. In the case of this house, it would need to be set back by about 6 feet to meet current regulations. You do realize that because this is a non-conforming property, major renovations or remodeling are problematic, right? Yes! The lawyer nodded his head vigorously, like a bobblehead. If you knew that, then what was all that talk before? He's so clueless it's actually amusing, but I've got to set him straight. By the way, Mr. Davis, are you really a lawyer? Huh? Mom, it's not nice to doubt people like that. I could sue you. Rachel snapped. Yes, I am a lawyer, and I have many ways to sue you. The lawyer blustered. Then where's your badge? Badge? The lawyer blinked in surprise. Wow, he doesn't even know that. Your attorney's badge? After a moment of silence, the lawyer slapped his hand and said, yes, that's a very important item. So, it's displayed in my office. I couldn't help but be taken aback. Oh, come on, it's not a trophy. But lawyers are required to carry it when practicing, aren't they? He's at a loss for words, so I sighed and said, never mind. Let's have Mr. Smith bring it over. Mr. Smith? He's a lawyer at Johnson & Associates. You do know him, don't you? Yes, Mr. Smith. He's a colleague of mine. A colleague? You're joking. The age difference alone? This guy can't even keep his story straight. Mr. Smith is the managing partner. He's been our family lawyer since my father's time. Ah. Even the so-called lawyer, or should I say the fake lawyer, is now scratching his head and groaning. No need to cover it up anymore. You're done. So, Mr. Davis. Hey, you're a lawyer, right? So you should know that it's a crime to impersonate a lawyer without a license. The fake lawyer let out a scream, as if he'd seen a ghost, and ran away. He sprinted towards the front door, shoving his feet into his shoes haphazardly, and grabbed the doorknob. Left in utter disbelief, Rachel snapped back to reality, and ran after him. Wait up, Matthew! Hey, Rachel! This is not what we agreed on! I said I'd help because you told me this was easy money! That's terrible, Matthew! You said leave it to me, didn't you? Their arguing voices trailed off as they got into a car in the parking lot. I eavesdropped through the intercom and even made a recording. Then I called the real Johnson & Associates. Shortly after, an irate attorney from the real Johnson & Associates reported the incident to the police, and both the impersonator and Rachel were easily arrested. Since I had a legitimate lawyer with me from the get-go, everything at the police station went smoothly. Not only did Rachel and the imposter falsely identify as lawyers, but they had also created business cards and documents. They violated both the legal profession regulations and minor offense laws. Adding fraud charges to the mix, they were arrested. They managed to get out on a not-so-cheap bail, but now they have an arrest record. I had already told them that rebuilding on that land would be against the law due to the age of the building. I never thought they'd be so stubborn. Alex, who had been assisting in a major surgery, found out about the whole fiasco the next morning. To avoid causing any inconvenience to the patients, the police had waited to contact Alex. Hearing the news, Alex looked pale and disheartened. You even roped in your affair partner for this scheme. You've chosen quite the bride. Emily, who had rushed over out of concern for me, told Alex with a weary look. That's right. The fraudulent lawyer turned out to be Rachel's former affair partner. Matthew was Rachel's ex-boyfriend, and they had a history of breaking up and getting back together. During a long separation, Rachel had started dating and got engaged to Alex. Matthew, apparently missing Rachel, sought to rekindle their relationship, and she accepted. All the while, she was cheating on Alex. Matthew, who never really held a stable job, was not as appealing to Rachel as Alex, who was a doctor. And as of now, Matthew was still unemployed. Come on, Alex is nice and has money and a beautiful house, but Matthew is fun and good looking. You understand, right, Mom? I don't. As divorce mediation proceeded, the layers of Rachel's deception were peeled back. With every revelation, I felt like I was about to pass out. Alex, after hearing how things unfolded, initially struggled to accept the truth. And why wouldn't he? His beautiful princess was rotten on the inside. But even the love-struck Alex had his eyes opened when he realized that Rachel, whom he had thought to be fragile and worth protecting, was not only cheating on him, but also saw him as nothing more than a cash cow. It seemed that Rachel had also managed to burn through Alex's savings that he had amassed before their marriage. He firmly demanded not just alimony, but also a refund of the money she'd spent recklessly. Adding the bail money, the alimony for cheating, and the reimbursement for the spent cash, along with a civil lawsuit from me, the total cost came out to a sum that could buy a brand new luxury car. Rachel, her affair partner, and their parents were all pale as ghosts, pleading multiple times to reduce the sum or even reconcile. She even offered to completely break it off with the other guy as a compromise. Well, it seems that in the meantime, the two did actually part ways for good. But Alex, now enlightened, wasn't giving them any leeway. He secured a complete victory by setting terms they couldn't escape, alongside a capable attorney. Rachel never apologized till the end. She may capture another man with her cute looks, but no sane man would go near a woman laden with massive debt and a criminal record. 5 years later... What's with that weird laugh? I can't help it. I'm so happy. I'm going to have a nephew. Yeah. Emily looks so delighted, as if she were the one pregnant, and it makes me smile too. After his divorce, Alex had thrown himself into his work, becoming wary of women. I was worried about him, but if his work could save lives, then I thought that was good. And last year, Alex remarried. Now, his wife is carrying a new life in her womb. I can't believe Alex remarried and is even going to have a child. And the best part is, he's with Lily! Can't beat that! I can't help but laugh when Emily nods in agreement so contentedly. Yes, his new wife is none other than our childhood friend, Lily. Lily had seemingly harbored a crush on Alex since elementary school. She'd been taking him out for drinks and such, concerned about him post-divorce. Thanks to her, Alex finally recognized the woman who truly cherished him. Man, you're slow on the uptake, Alex. But seeing the two of them happily together made me glad too. So I decided to transfer the ownership of this house that Rachel had been so obsessed with to Emily a bit sooner than planned. Tyler's back has been hurting, and the spiral staircase has been becoming a problem. Issues like these will only increase as we age. So we bought a single-story, conveniently located house to spend the rest of our lives. Of course, once Tyler's back is healed, we're even planning to go on a cross-country trip across the United States. Emily still hasn't decided whether she will maintain this house as is or renovate it. But the shape of the house really doesn't matter to me. What's most important is that wherever we live, our family is smiling.